Hello and welcome back to our next update on the emulator build. So as you can see, I've made some progress. I've got the top and front panels successfully attached. I've got the motherboard in. I've got the power supply in. I installed the bottom fan there, so that's been cleaned up. It's ready to go. Tonight's focus is going to be on physically finishing the build. So we still got to put the radiator back on, and we got to put the fan attached to that for the back. I am going to clean that DVD drive off and put it back in, just because otherwise that big hole is unsightly, and I don't have the panel covers for this case anymore. I already cleaned off the side panels, so those are ready to go back on and be reattached. We're going to reattach this doodad for the RGB strip on the bottom, and we'll test and see if that works. We'll be installing our brand new SSDs, so this is going to be the heart of the new emulator build. So we got 4 1TB SSDs. These are on sale, that's why we have 4 of them. This is a pretty good deal. So that's where our emulator is going to live in our games. I've also got this 1TB hard drive lying around that the client can have. I'm just going to donate because I don't need it. So they can have that for their game storage as well. This is just all the cable mess. I still have to sort through this and figure out what exactly I need. So tonight's going to be all about cable management, basically. And we're going to try something new tonight. I got a tripod. I'm going to try putting on a time lapse, and we'll see if that's successful. So you can actually watch me build in real time. Well, not real time, but in accelerated time. So we're going to give that a shot, and if that works, then that's going to be really good news for the channel going forward, because I'll be able to post a lot of stuff more in depth. So we'll see you on the other side of this hopefully completed build. Great news, it posted and everything looks good. Got our BIOS up here. I'm in the furnace room where I do most of the testing. Both of the top fans came up just fine. The system itself came up fine. This light bar appears to be dead. I've tried the switch in a couple things and I can't get it to turn on. So I'm going to call that a loss. Take the L there. But the only other thing that I've noticed is this back fan here, the one that we put behind the radiator. Yeah, it's currently only putting out 80 RPM, so I think the bearing or the motor in there might be bad. I'm going to swap it out with another fan, and we're going to see if we can get that to work. But otherwise, success. I think we're good. We're ready to close her up and start loading the emulator. So, really good night. A lot of good work done today. So it's now the morning after my last video, and unfortunately we're back here in the furnace room. And the computer is plugged into my test stand, and we got this! So, minor setback. What happened was, I was actually in the process of getting the Batocera OS loaded. That went great. I was starting to get the drives recognized. Because Batocera is a Linux operating system, you kind of got to go into the... If for multiple drives right now, you got to go into the command prompt and enable the drives and tell Linux what they are and name them and stuff like that. So you have to reboot 7 or 8 times. And after getting all the drives, I thought, set up and finally ready to, start to put the finishing touches on it, it wouldn't post. Or it does post, but then nothing happens. I did attach a speaker. I'm getting a beep. So what you can't see here is when you reboot it, it'll hit the splash screen and it'll just sit there. So here, let me just use this here. There's the reset. And eventually here, when it comes up, it will beep. And then you'll probably see a Gigabyte logo, but you'll notice that it's not formatted right. It's got a weird letterbox around it. And I'm hammering the keys and nothing's happening. And after a few seconds here, you'll hear it post again. It'll beep. It'll do that 5 or 6 times. And then it'll just go to a black screen. If you unplug the drives, I've discovered, it will come up with the please insert a boot device prompt. But the primary drive is plugged in right now, and when that happens, it doesn't boot, it just sits there on a black screen. So eventually this will go away and die. I've been testing this for a while last night and again this morning. I'm pretty sure this motherboard is dead, or at least damaged or malfunctioning in some way. And because I tried clearing the CMOS, I tried getting a firmware update to it, but I can't get it to respond to anything. So it's hard to flash a motherboard you can't even get into. So I'm thinking this motherboard is probably a dead end. So I have already sourced a new CPU and a new motherboard, very cheap on eBay. So our next update will be when those parts arrive. We'll get that stuff taken out. The good news is there isn't a lot of wasted work here. All of our cable management is in a good spot. All of our fans are working. All the drives are set up, and the OS is actually installed. So really, all we should need to do is drop the new CPU and motherboard in, remove the cooler, attach the cooler, and we can continue. So, there's our black screen. So it would be great if I was filming this and all of a sudden it miraculously booted, but I don't see that happening. Also, wouldn't want to trust this going back to the client who lives several hundred miles away from me with a motherboard that I know has issues. So I'll feel better knowing that I have a good motherboard and a good CPU in here before final delivery. So this is going to be my last update on this project for a little while, but happy to announce I've got some really cool new stuff coming to my channel very soon. So I'm doing a rebuild of my personal gaming PC this week, so that's going to happen soon. I've got a really nice custom commission for my brother that I'm going to be doing, so I'll be posting that on the channel. And I will also be, once that stuff is done, I'll be taking my old gaming PC motherboard and putting it into Edie, who is still comfortably working over here. So got 3 builds coming in less than 2 weeks, so please keep watching if you are. Hope you enjoyed our video today, and not as happy of an ending, but to be continued. Thank you.